I think the conversation starts with what do you understand is mental health?
Hello, everybody. Jai Shri Krishna. Kem Cho Bada. I hope you all are doing amazing, amazing, amazing. And here I am back again with an amazing topic and with an amazing person. Hope you guys can relate to it and learn something and open about it. Talk more about taboo topics. So bring on to you somebody who's a known person. If you're in Nairobi, I'm assuming so. I mean, I'm hoping so. She is none other than Prashna Shah, a psychologist. And let's get on to today's topic with her. So
Okay.
maybe you can start with introducing yourself for those of you who don't know who you are.
So my name is Prashna. I'm a clinical psychologist practicing in Nairobi. I have my own private clinic. I also, as a consultant out of MP Shah AR Jalaram. And I've
That's
known
super.
Kushbu for about 3 years now, 4 years actually.
Yes. And I've known Prashna for we've known each other for, yeah, 4 years since COVID, right? So
Correct. Yeah,
I had the pleasure of meeting her, getting introduced, and along the way, we became really amazing friends, I guess. And nice to
absolutely.
have you with me, Prashna.
Thank you.
So I don't know if people have already guessed, but yeah, today's topic is going to be mental health. And that is why my special guest is actually Prashna. So welcome. Welcome to my channel, my great, amazing channel, which is there, existing, trying to push through it. So let's talk something about mental health, Prashna. Why is it very important to talk about mental health? In today's, especially I feel in today's generation, in today's century, in today's millennium, whatever we call it.
I think the conversation starts with what do you understand is mental health?
So for me, mental health is as same as the physical health, taking care of your brain. If you have a problem in the brain, taking care of that. So for me, I think that's how I would define mental health as. But yeah, I think the whole reason we are here today is because talking about mental health and anything to do with mental health is a taboo. And I think people don't really talk about it for that same reason. So, why is it important to
Yeah.
talk about mental health?
So I think as we talk about health, um, mental health is exactly that. It's not only about your brain, it's about everything encompassed within it. So it takes care of your physical, your social behavior, your physical behavior, your behavioral. Um, and if your mental health is struggling, invariably other areas of your life are also out of balance. So
Right, which is
you
true.
could perhaps got physical or physiological problems or any other kind of divergence or neurological problems. So it all goes hand in hand, just like a team in the office or a family, everything comes together as one. You
Yes,
can't treat one without treating another.
correct. Absolutely. And I completely agree with you. I think as much as we don't talk about it today, and but we should for the same reason. So now that brings me to the next question. How do you think if somebody doesn't talk about mental health or if they're going through something, how do you think it would affect one's physical health in terms of any sickness or how would it just basically affect their appearance? Let's just put it that way.
So, you know, first of all, WHO says that the state of your entire well-being as an individual is granted when everything comes and is working in the same kind of tandem. So when your mental health or your physical health are struggling, something is not working properly. So you can't therefore live productively. You can't contribute to your society, to your community, to your family. So it's part of universal health, right? Um, you could experience anything which could be considered mild, temporary. It could be treated over short term or long term. A lot of people say, oh, I think I've got, I don't sleep well, or, oh, I'm feeling really irritable and angry. But when that's happening to you over many weeks and many months, how does it contribute to your daily life?
You
It's going to
definitely
give
feel
you,
tired. Yeah.
or suddenly you're feeling like maybe your pressure's out of, control.
Yes.
It's either going too high or too low, or you're not eating correctly, or you're getting strange food cravings. I've got patients who've said to me, doc, I just feel like having something sugary or salty, or I'm eating a lot of junk food and I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So, when one is out of cohesion with the other, they don't work well.
Yeah. Which I
It's
think
like
makes
two
sense,
wheels.
right? Because if
Correct.
today I mean, even if within your body, if two organs don't function well, then your overall being is definitely going to be affected. So, why should we not consider the mind, which is also an organ, part of the well being? Which I think now, yes, I do feel that now people are getting used to it and talking about it more openly compared to before. But I think this do you think this is what my take is on why it's a taboo? Because I think people back then never really realized that they had mental health issues, or maybe I guess with the environmental changes, with the social changes, with I think the generation before, or when I look at the generation of my grandparents, I feel that they really never had so much of pressure, so much of competition what we have today. Do you think that even the social or the economy or just the environment overall has brought out more um, more people having mental health issues compared to the 80s or the 60s or even for that matter the early 90s?
I think it's more about the education and awareness we have.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, there's not much data from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
There is definitely data from the 80s and 90s and into the 2000s. But what it is that we've become a lot more aware, we've become a lot more mindful about what is going on around us, within us. And mental health has been focused on so much that we're talking about it a lot more.
Yeah.
And therefore, even the stigma around it is being, it's getting better and better as the years go.
Yes.
So if you look back in your 80s and 90s, perhaps somebody who was suffering from depression or any other kind of mental health illness was even perpetually kept locked away in the house. They were not even allowed out of the home area,
Yes.
purely because people, A, didn't know what was wrong with them. They could understand it. There was no real clear-cut definitions as to this person is suffering from depression or is an alcoholic. They were just thought to be crazy and mad and thought, Okay, they're better off not being out in society as opposed to right now, where we know that we've got medicine, we've got so many tools at our disposal that we can use for treatment. So it's more about awareness as it is about frequency.
Yeah, okay. Because I do know that if you will tell somebody who's probably, in the 60s or 70s, born at that time, and if you tell them right now that I'm facing depression, they'll just look at you like, what are you saying? There's nothing like depression. I think it's not even about the 60s and 70s. I still feel that even today, there are a lot of people who are in denial that there's something called depression that exists.
Yeah, the stigma around mental health still exists.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to believe that they've got a mental health challenge, whether
yeah.
it's temporary or permanent, or whether it's making them dysfunctional or causing disruption in their life. There's a huge stigma around it. So we still need to create a lot more awareness around it and make it a lot more normal.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why I have you here. So now, coming back to another question that I hear a lot, what is the difference between anxiety and depression?
So there's a clear-cut um, difference. Anxiety is not as severe as depression, number one.
Hmm.
Depression is a lot more debilitating. Anxiety, you can still go about and be a fully functional human being with anxiety. You can go to work every day, even though you may be having an anxiety attack or an episode. You can still be sitting at a Zoom meeting like this with your heart palpitating or your hands sweaty, and nobody will realize it. Whereas depression is where it becomes almost debilitating. You find it's difficult to get out of bed every morning. You find yourself in a perpetual low mood. You can't really hide it from people as easily. It becomes very distressing for the person who is going through it, as well as a person who is associated with the people who are going through it.
Okay, so would you say anxiety somehow, sometimes leads to depression?
Absolutely. Many a times they go hand in hand.
Okay.